everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. I am Beth and this is your Ruben Amorim press conference reaction. We have Dyche ball to look forward to on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, and the press conference is now a bit early on a Thursday, but Ruben Amorim had a lot to say. Fires back at Sean Dyche and his comments about him being able to win more games than Ruben Amorim. I thought Ruben Amorim put it in a way that was respectful towards Sean Dyche, but also was like, I believe in myself, I'm here, and I believe that my way is the way to go. Also, injury updates on Lisandro Martinez. Harry Maguire speaks about how Manchester United will have to suffer when Brian Mbeumo and Ahmad go to AFCON. Also talks about players in training deserving to play games but not being able to play games because there is only that one game a week and everyone's performing at a really high level. So there's a lot to get into in this Ruben Amorim press conference. So get your comments in, how you're feeling ahead of Dyche ball. He also mentions a critical point that Man United have not been the same team away from home than that they have been at Old Trafford, and that they need to ensure that every single game they are playing at their maximum. I mean, our last away game wasn't too shabby. We're at Anfield for Liverpool away and we blew them out the water. But to be honest with you, looking back, was it that big of an achievement? Everyone seems to be blowing Liverpool out the water nowadays. I see Arnie Slot. 1 second, let me put my phone on silent. Arnie Slot's trying to ring me up. Stop slagging me off. Sorry. The phone goes on silent while I'm speaking to you guys. But last night I thought to myself, Crystal Palace beat you near enough every time they play you. Suddenly they don't have enough players. Suddenly squad depth. I think you knew Crystal Palace would probably beat you even with your first team out, so you wanted to be like, oh, we've got beat, but I had to play the kids. We don't have squad depth. Anyway, this is the United Stand. Get your comments in. Let us know how you're feeling. I agree with Ruben Amorim. We do have to play much better away from home than our track record. Liverpool's a really, really good start to that, and banter aside, it's a brilliant win against a really good squad. So we've got to build on it, and Dyche ball is going to be very different. We know what Dyche ball entails. Started a little bit different at Nottingham Forest, but still playing the same sort of style, and Sean Dyche, he's very capable of setting a team up to cause us a lot of problems, so we've got to be aware of that, and Ruben Amorim does speak about it. So, starting off, I'll just bring you the instant injury updates. He gets started on Lisandro Martinez. So close. So close to have Lisandro Martinez back now. This is what Ruben Amorim had to say. He wants to go to this one, Nottingham Forest, but he isn't going to this one, and he had a bit of a laugh about it. He's so eager to get back playing football, Lisandro Martinez, but you've got to rate that and respect that about him. And when you've been out for so long, continuously, I bet you can't wait to just go out there and play football, and you feel like you're ready, you want to go and show everyone what you're capable of, but this is the manager's job and the coaching staff's job and the medical team's job to say, look, we want you fit for the season. We don't want you fit for a couple of weeks. We don't want you fit for 45 minutes. We want you fit for a season. If that means we've got to go to Nottingham Forest, and if that means we even have to go to Spurs and not play you, that's what we're going to do. Because Luke Shaw, despite what anybody says, is doing really, really well, and Amorim's very, very happy with him. There is no reason to rush Lisandro Martinez back in. Do we want him back playing? Do we want him back fit? Absolutely, of course we do. I mean, Ruben Amorim literally states in a second why he's so important to this team, but you want him fit for the season, you don't want to rush him, and there's no need to rush him right now. So I think that's a good, strong decision by Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff. So he says he wants to go to this one, Nottingham Forest, but he isn't going to go to this one. He's going to need time. He has started training with us. Slowly, he's going to get better. It's really good. He gives us that edge in every training session, so that's also really good for us. The rest of the guys, we have one day. I don't know about Harry Maguire, but the rest are fit. I mean, someone's just said it really well in the chat there. ISO Magic, thank you very much for getting your comments in, and everyone get your comments in, get involved. Let's make it an interactive show. He has said, ISO Magic, the butcher is sharpening his knife. I love that. He's getting ready. He's getting ready to return. And we also have the Gamer Boy saying Shaw was class against Brighton. Daniel Thompson, fantastic to see Lisandro back, but we need to ease him back in the fold. So I take every precaution necessary and start him with some appearances and then give him starts after the next international break. Yeah, I see that. I mean, if Lisandro Martinez is close, I would honestly just wait until after the international break. I'd have him doing behind closed door games in Carrington. I'd get him really involved in the training. I'd make sure he was 100% fit before we brought him back into the team, because like it was just said then, Luke Shaw is doing well. He was very, very good against Brighton. That back three is working well together. No Harry Maguire is a blow. And when he says, I don't know about Harry Maguire, that means he won't be starting. He won't be starting. He might make the bench. He might make the bench. By the way, Mazraoui's been on the bench the last 2 games but hasn't been used. I wonder if he's 100% fit. But we've got enough there. We've got Mazraoui. If he is fit, I assume he is, because he's been in the squad the last 2 games. If he is fit, I'd want to use him at least, even if it's off the bench. You have Dyche, who has just been an absolute monster this season. So good. Luke Shaw, who I think has done really, really well. Apart from that game at the Etihad, I think he's been brilliant and was especially good against Brighton. So there's no need to rush him. And I don't think Amorim will, and I think that's a good call, and it shows that other members of the squad are stepping up and taking the burden off them players to rush them back. But I am excited to have him back, and when Ruben Amorim talks about him bringing that edge, we have missed that edge. Cunha gives us that edge, that grit, that bite. Bruno gives us that edge, that grit, that bite. I mean, that is what Lisandro Martinez gives us. I mean, Ugarte gives it us, but he doesn't really play that much now under Ruben Amorim. Every player's got different attributes. For example, you know, Matheus Cunha is such a big personality, he's so passionate. He's brilliant in that aspect. Bryan Mbeumo, as Amorim said, he's a bit more quieter, you know, just gets on about his business, but he's so good. He's so good, and he works and works and works. Everyone's different. You need a balance of personalities, and Lisandro Martinez brings that leadership. He's part of the senior leadership team. He brings that bite, and I am excited to have him back, but it's good that we don't have to rush him. He then, and also, by the way, and I can see chats coming in as well, it's just good to have a squad that's looking pretty deep, and I know it's because we're not playing a midweek game that we feel this way, but it's good for the manager to actually have to make a decision. Like, when Amorim finally does have to make a decision on Martinez or Luke Shaw, what are decisions have to make? You want them decisions all across the pitch. So that is good to see that players are stepping up. Ruben Amorim gets asked then about his reflections on his first year as manager of Manchester United. So how quick has it gone, by the way, guys? Ruben Amorim has been at Manchester United for nearly a year. So I think it was the 22nd of November 2024, if I'm not wrong, that he managed his first game for Manchester United, and it was Ipswich away. I think we won 1-0 that game. Rashford actually, I think, scored in the opening few minutes. Or was it 1-1? I think it was a 1-1 draw, wasn't it? Someone will let me know. I'm usually very, very good at remembering. Do you know, that's like my party trick, by the way. If you give me a Man United game within like the last 3-ish years, I can probably name you the result and the scorers. I'm really good at that. But I think Ipswich was 1-1, I think, and Rashford scored in the opening minutes. But anyway, it's been a year. Long story short, it's been a year of Ruben Amorim. I mean, how would you rate, first of all, get in the chat, how would you rate Ruben Amorim's first year in charge? How would you rate it out of 10? Let me know in the comments. And Ruben Amorim himself said, you know, his answer has probably changed from what it would have been 3 weeks ago. I mean, if anyone's seen that image that's going around on social media, Amorim 3 weeks ago, Amorim now, the glow up is actually off the scale. 3 weeks ago, he looked like he was in the depths of despair. Now he looks like he's absolutely shining. This is what winning a few games as Manchester United manager does for you. I mean, instantly you've got 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 4, 3, 5, 7, 5. Do you know what? I feel like I'm hoping and I'm praying, everyone hope and pray in this little circle with me. I'm hoping and I'm praying that this year of suffering, because the suffering was real. I mean, we lost the Europa League final to Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham Hotspur. That was just like, I was bottom of the barrel on that day. And I was there in Bilbao. It was an absolute nightmare. The whole day was a nightmare, and the evening was a nightmare. And you had all these expectations. There's been some real low points and there's been some massive, massive suffering. But I finally feel like maybe we are starting to come out of the other side now. We've made some really good signings in the summer. We've not got everything done, but I feel like we're on the right track and our overall performance levels are going up. The team looks like it's more of a team. We've got more depth and it feels like we're finally learning. One, Amorim's adapted and playing to the best of the players' ability, but still playing his way and his style. And I also think the players are understanding how Amorim wants to play now. And it's finally sunk in. Everyone seems to know their roles. I think Brighton, Liverpool as well, but Liverpool's a bit different. Brighton was the first game where I looked at it and thought, this team knows exactly what they're doing. Like, we just knew how to manage the game. We knew exactly what the roles were in the team. And Larmans has made a big difference. The new signings have made a big difference. But I do feel like we're finally turning a corner. So that would boost my ranking up a little bit. I'd probably give it around a 4 out of 10 just because of how many games we have lost, to be honest with you. But that's going to start creeping up because I actually do think that we're turning it around. Nottingham Forest is going to be massive. You know, we know what Dyche can do. We know these are the sort of games that we struggle in, especially away from home. And before we beat Liverpool, it was 8 away games without a win for Ruben Amorim. So it's huge to just like Brighton was huge in an indicator of if we have moved up a level. But hopefully we can continue to transform, and this actually is a turning point. And then my ranking would go up a little bit for Amorim. But Amorim said it was a journey, it was a big journey, it was tough, it was really tough. I've learned a lot. Today the answer is different from 3 weeks ago, so it's important to understand that this is the biggest honour. It's only been 2 matches so far from that. Let me just read out the quote that's on the United stand because I feel like... Here we go. No, it's the same quote. I was watching the press conference a little bit, and he was basically saying he wants to be at Manchester United for many, many years. It's the greatest honour. He wants to succeed. He was saying all the right things, but he acknowledged the fact that there's been some really dark days and there has been a lot of suffering, but hopefully this is now us turning the corner. He then gets asked about Nottingham Forest and what he knows about them, what he can kind of take from looking in Nottingham Forest, especially under Sean Dyche. And he said, more or less, I watched the last game. It was one of the first ones here that we won. We were so lucky in that game. So he's talking about the last game that we played against Nottingham Forest. He said, I watched against Porto. I watched against Bournemouth. The style of play is similar with different characteristics. I watched one game that we did in pre-season with Sporting, so to try and understand how he played in that game. And I think he's talking about Sean Dyche there. He said, it's similar. We can change some characteristics of the players with the talent that they have, especially with Gibbs-White, Anderson, Hudson-Odoi. Very good players. So we need to be prepared for a different game than against Brighton. We had space to play. We are not going to have that space. You need to understand that we are not being the same team away and at home. So we need to improve the way that we control the environment. Every tackle is a big moment for the opponent's fans. So we need to play better away. We are prepared for a very tough match. So Ruben Amorim, a few things I can take from that. First of all, is acknowledging that we are a different side away from home than we are at home. I mean, that Brentford result, not to kind of hark back to a dark day, but that was... I thought Amorim could have been like on the brink there. Like, it was really, really poor. And, you know, nobody wants to go to the G-Tech. You know, Brentford are doing fantastic under Keith Andrews, and they're a tough team to go and play against, home or away, but especially in their home ground. But the fans going to be up for it. Sean Dyche needs to win. And they have got some good players. So Amorim is basically instilling that mentality into his squad and into his players. You've not got the home crowd behind you. And the home crowd massively got up for it against Brighton, especially when Anthony Taylor was giving all them decisions against us. I mean, the crowd, it was like an element of them sucking the ball into the back of the net for Cunha's first goal. I mean, brilliant play from United and Cunha. But as the crowd was roaring on, it felt like the players were getting energy from it. We're not going to have that. I mean, our away support is the best in the country, so you probably will actually have an element of it, but it's different. You're not going to have as much space. Their fans are going to be massively up for it, and you've got to kind of take that into perspective. Also, basically, don't make any sloppy mistakes. Stick to the game plan. Understand that the game that we're going to have to play, and basically telling his players, we're not in that happy place yet. We've got to prove ourselves at home, but we've also got to continuously prove ourselves away. The other thing I can take from that, and I agree with everything Ruben Amorim says, because in these presses, I actually just love listening to Amorim. And even when we were in the dark, dark trenches, and I was sat here saying, I don't know how long this can continue for, losing games this way, I always sat here when I did an Amorim presser and said, I really like the guy. I like the way he speaks. I think he's honest. I think he speaks about football really well. You know, if there was a best manager in the world award for talking, Amorim would get it. He's great at convincing you. He's great at talking, and I've always liked him. But anyway, the other thing he said, which I mean, I might be reading into it a little bit, but he name-dropped Gibbs-White, Anderson and Hudson-Odoi as very good players. And do you remember the press conference before the game against Wolves last season? And he name-dropped Matheus Cunha as a very good player. Later on, we went on to sign Matheus Cunha. Amorim knows what he's doing. Yes, they are very good players, but we've been linked to Anderson. Gibbs-White, I think, is a brilliant player, and he's a United fan. And he was speaking like a United fan midweek as well. He was talking about how brilliant it is to see Manchester United playing better football and sticking with the manager and coming through that period. I mean, he is a boyhood United fan, but he's a really, really good player that actually I think would fit Amorim's system super well. I mean, we're stacked when it comes to number 10s now. We are, so we don't need to go and get Gibbs-White, but he's a proper good footballer, and I think Amorim acknowledges that. Anderson would be brilliant in our midfield. I heard Goldbridge on the morning show saying his 2 picks would be Angelo Stiller and Elliot Anderson, and I would be on board with that. I would be aboard that train very, very quickly. Get me the nearest ticket, I'm boarding that train. I think that'd be a great combination. And I think Anderson would be actually top of my list, considering how he's performing at the moment. And then Hudson-Odoi, again, a very, very good player, and Amorim knows this. So just I'm not reading into it too much, but he's name-dropped players before that we've gone on to sign, that's all I'm saying. ISO Magic says Anderson, Stiller, Wharton 2026. I don't think we'll be able to get all 3, but it's definitely good to have hopes and dreams. And that's why Angelo Stiller does come into it, because he's going to be cheaper than the other options. And you guys know, I love a Premier League proven player, but Angelo Stiller is absolutely ripping up the Bundesliga. He's doing really, really well. He looks good. You can't just bring him in. We still need a destroyer type player to go next to him. But if you can get him for around 50 million, which is what he's been touted at, I think he'd be a really, really good buy. But, and I seen a comment before say, I thought it's Ben Jacobs on 2 PMs on Thursdays usually. It usually is, but because the press conference was moved back, we've moved Ben Jacobs to tomorrow when the press conference usually is. So Ben will be on tomorrow. Get your questions ready for him. We will be interviewing him tomorrow, so don't worry about that. But he did reveal on the transfer show a couple of weeks ago that Adam Wharton has a gentleman's agreement with Crystal Palace for £60 million to let him leave in the summer of 2026 for £60 million. I think there's going to be a queue of clubs for his signature. And when you look at Angelo Stiller for 50 and Adam Wharton for 60, there is 10 million is a lot of money. Who would you prefer? Who would you prefer? Because it's not a big enough gap where you can say, definitely go for Angelo Stiller just because he's a little bit cheaper, because it is quite similar in terms of money. Both really good options, and both kind of similar options in terms of where they'll play in this team. Slightly different attributes, but they would both sit next to a destroyer type player in that midfield. So yeah, who would you prefer? I mean, I've seen more of Adam Wharton and I think he's fantastic. I mean, I saw Goldbridge say on the morning show, what does he actually do? Like, he acknowledged he's a good player, but he said he's not got one specific standout skill. And I mean, every time I've watched Adam Wharton, I just think he's a midfielder that plays so well that he's just so important to a team. It's similar to Mason Mount. They play different positions, but Mason Mount isn't flashy, but he just does everything really, really well, and it massively helps the team. It's just a good quality footballer. That's what Adam Wharton does. He reads the game excellently. You know, his first touch is fantastic. He never loses the ball. He's press resistant. He can carry the ball out from the back 4. I think he's just a really good, safe pair of hands, and if you want to start playing more possession type football, Adam Wharton brings that. But let me know what you would prefer. I mean, Wharton, Prem-Proven, Wharton. I've heard Stiller is fantastic. I've not seen loads of him, but any of you that's watching Bundesliga, and by the way, guys, make sure you tune in to That's Football tomorrow night. It is Bundesliga time, and Goldbridge will be doing the watch-along. Not just a watch-along, you get to watch the live game, so you can scout Bundesliga players. So when people say, oh, but he's from the Bundesliga, you can say, well, I've watched him, and he looks really, really good. And tomorrow night's game is Augsburg versus Dortmund, so that's going to be a cracker. Will Joe Bellingham get any time? You'll have to wait and see. You can watch a live game with Goldbridge tomorrow on That's Football, so make sure you go and do that. Nuggablay says, I'd sign Tonali. What I would do to sign Tonali? I think Tonali would be absolutely perfect in an Amorim system, but you're just not going to get him out of Newcastle, so there's no point even talking about it, to be honest with you. Macklish says, maybe Wharton is just good at most things. Bellingham is also good at a lot of things. Joe Bellingham is the answer, says Amin. Joe Bellingham is... Job. I personally think that he has got qualities, but he wouldn't be my top choice as of now. I'm looking at the Wharton, I'm looking at the Stiller, I'm looking at the Anderson, I'm looking at the Belabor. Even, to be fair, Belabor's you can't just go off one performance. He's been a pretty poor start this season, but in the summer, I was so wanting to sign Belabor because I remember watching him significantly last season. He was fantastic. But this season, he's just not been very good. And in that game against United, he was really poor. So I've gone off the idea of signing Belabor, to be honest with you. JB says, you don't always have to agree with Mark. Wharton equals Rodri. I think Rodri is a bit different to Wharton in terms of the way he plays, but I don't always agree with Mark. I don't. And I didn't agree with him on the Wharton comment that he made. I think Wharton is fantastic, and he's just a simple footballer that will elevate any team that he plays in. Anyway, Wharton and Anderson, what a duo that would be. That would be class. That would be class. Anyway, moving up to Amorim's next set of quotes, and this is on Amad and Mbeumo going to AFCON. So he says, we will have time to suffer. We are going to struggle a little bit, but we already knew that it's going to be an opportunity. When I watch training, there are players that should be playing, but it's hard with one game to take time. It's hard with one game to take some players from the team because they are doing well also during the training in games. So other players are going to have the opportunity to help us. Sorry guys, them words got jumbled up then. But basically he's saying we're going to suffer without Mbeumo and Amad, but he watches training and there's certain players that it's unfair that they're not playing football, but also we've got one game a week and there's players also that are training really, really well that are also playing really well in the game, so we can't drop them out. And I think what he's hinting to here is the likes of Joshua Zirkzee, Kobbie Mainoo, players that are playing really well in training, doing all the right things, but you just can't get them into the team because Sesko's also doing really well in training, and then when he plays games he's doing really well. Cunha's also doing really well in training, then when he plays games he's doing well. Same with Mount, same with the likes of Casemiro, Bruno. So I think he's basically saying, Ugarte, Mainoo, Zirkzee, you are going to have an opportunity now when the likes of Amad and Mbeumo go to AFCON to get yourself into this team. And I think, again, it's another hint of why he won't let them players go when the January transfer window opens, because there is AFCON coming up and he's going to want to have all positions covered and he's going to want the best players to pick from, and they are really good players that you can bring into the team. So, yeah, he also says they are understanding the way that we want to play. So if we are improving on that, the change of characteristics is not going to change the idea or the momentum of this team. But let's use Amad and Brian in these games and then we will see in general. So basically, he's saying Amad and Mbeumo, they're starters for me. Let's use Amad and Brian in these games and then we'll see. They are, like, both of them, I think, are near enough first names on team sheet basis right now. They're nailed on starters, in my opinion. And I think they should be. I think they're developing a really, really good relationship. And I think that both of them have proved of why they are so important to this team. Amad is just excelling every single game at right wing back. Him and Brian and Mbeumo's relationship is developing massively. The reason why Amad is being so successful at right wing back is because Brian and Mbeumo is a workaholic and tracks back, helps him out, sometimes interchanges with him. The reason why Mbeumo is doing so well at getting forward is because Amad's providing him some really good link-up play. They are just working magically together, but he's basically saying that the likes of the Mainoos, the Zirkzees, the players that are technically first-team players but not really getting in the side, they're understanding the way that Amorim wants to play. So yes, there'll be a slight change in characteristics when these sort of players come in, if them players do go to AFCON, when they go to AFCON, but the idea is the same and it's a chance for them to prove themselves. Noah Larapete is a member for 39 months. Thank you very much. Beard Gang says he's definitely going to have Dalot play right wing back. Well, yeah, he loves Dalot, doesn't he? He absolutely loves Dalot. So, really, it's just going to be one space in the team. Isn't it? Really, though, it's just going to be one space in the team because when Ahmad goes to AFCON, Dalot will go to right wing back. And if Mbeumo is at AFCON, it's basically just one position, and Mount might even fill into that. So is Xerxes and Manu still going to get much opportunity? I mean, let's see. Mbeumo won't be out for long with Anana in net for Cameroon, says Ryan. That's jokes. To be fair, you know, it's a good thing that Cameroon have... Sorry to all the people of Cameroon. I do want you to do well, but also I want Brian Mbeumo playing for Manchester United. So, yeah, he might be back pretty quickly. Navino says Mbeumo will be the one to come from AFCON, come home from AFCON because Cameroon squad is not that good. Mbeumo plays with Onana, so he won't be gone for long. Noah Lalabati, why are you so toxic now? Amorim a 4 out of 10 when he has cleared out bad attitudes. Doggy already written off. You are killing this club with toxicity. Noah. Please, Noah. Please listen to what I'm saying. I am a Manchester United fan that is emotional, passionate and wants us to win. I have always said I want Ruben Amorim to do really well. I want him to be successful. I don't want to bring in a new manager. I want him to go out there and smash it. The same with every other player in this Man United squad. I would love nothing more than Dorgu to go out against Nottingham Forest, get man of the match, and then become the best left wing back in the league, in the world. I want nothing more than for that to happen. But you've got to... You can't just not say what you see. And the fact of the matter is, before Amorim went on this winning streak, the results were horrendous for a club of Manchester United stature. Yes, you can look back and say it's a transitional period. Yes, you can look back and say the work is done off the pitch, which, by the way, I have always give credit to on this show. I've always said Amorim is seen through the players that don't have the right attitude for Manchester United. He's making it more of a team. He's getting players in with the right characters. I've always said that. I've always said off the pitch and the man managing side of things, he's been fantastic. However, I have come on here and said he was too stubborn in the way that he was playing and we were hurting because of it. He's adapted a little and also his message is finally getting through to the players. Credit to him for that and credit to the players for that. However, I am not going to sit here for a year and say everything's amazing, everything's fantastic when we're losing week in, week out. Same with the players. Brian Mbeumo, I've been singing his praises before we signed him, when we signed him, every game he's played, because he displays the quality that is needed from a Manchester United player. That's the level of player that should be playing for Manchester United. I've criticised Dorgu a little bit recently, yes I have. But it comes from a place of, look, I'm on the United stand giving my opinion to thousands of people. I'm not just going to sit here and say everyone was amazing when they weren't. I'm a football fan. Dorgu, I've said multiple times, great physicality, got loads of potential, great attitude, will work for days. However, I don't think technically he's at the level of what a starter should be for Manchester United right now. It's criticism, it's not toxicity. It's not at all. I want him to do really well. I hope that he kicks on and does fantastically well. I want everyone in United to do really well. But you've got to be unbiased at times and you've got to say what you say. It's football chat. It's not toxicity. So, yeah, if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. My dad messages me after every fans forum and says, "You're too harsh on Dorgu. I really like him. I think he's got loads about him." My dad loves Dorgu. A lot of you guys will love Dorgu. It's footballing opinion. That is what football is. I love Bruno Fernandes. I think he's a fantastic captain, a fantastic player. Does he have his bad moments like every person on this planet? Yes. But I love him. I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen wear a United shirt. Whereas a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, don't rate him. Ricky, one of my best friends in life, doesn't rate him. Doesn't mean we don't get along. Doesn't mean we abuse each other. It's just football and opinion, guys. That's all it is. So I'm sorry for taking up quite a bit of the show with Noah, but I'm just not having somebody in the comments say something that is just categorically not true. I will always back every United player. I'll back them to the hills against opposition fans, but also at the same time, how boring would life be if you just sat here and said everything is sunshine and rainbows and amazing? And also, how boring would life be if you just sat here and said everything's awful, everything's horrendous? We're living in this world now where it's two extremities. You can meet somewhere in the middle. It's honestly. Anyway, rant over. Thank you very much for everyone staying with me through that. Also, 3,500 of you in the room, smash a like on the video. Thank you very much, everyone, for getting involved. Next up, we have Ruben Amorim firing back at Sean Dyche. So, he basically said, I don't know if you've seen it, but before he got the job in Nottingham Forest, Sean Dyche appeared on an interview on a podcast, and he said that if he came into Manchester United and played his way, he thinks he would win more games than you. But he also said that he thinks that you need time as a manager. And this is what Ruben Amorim had to reply. I really liked it. He said, first of all, maybe it's true. If we play a 4-4-2, we win more games. But I've always said that I have a way of playing that is going to take a while. But in the future, it's going to be better. So we don't know that. Then I look at Sean Dyche as a manager, but also as a pundit. If you're a pundit and don't say strong things, I don't want to watch you. I'm the same, so I can understand that it's a completely different job. I know Sean Dyche is really smart and knows how to play the game. He also understands that one thing is when we are seeing the game and talking about the game, to coach a team is different. So I understand that. I have nothing to say. I just want to win the next game. And I absolutely love that because he was sort of killing with kindness, but also having a slight little dig as well at the same time. Look, I like Sean Dyche. I'm so glad that he's back in the Prem. I think he's an absolute character. He's Premier League football to me. I love Sean Dyche, his way about him. I like listening to his press conferences, but I absolutely want to beat him on Saturday. There is no ifs and buts about that. And Ruben Amorim is basically just saying there, look, Sean Dyche has done the job. He knows how difficult it is sometimes when you're coaching a team. And I think his comment, this is me reading into it, I might be wrong. I think that comment from Amorim is a bit like, why would you say that when you know how difficult it can be? But he's also saying, you never know. It could have won more games. But what I've been trying to tell you since day one, me included, because I was starting to lose hope, is I've got a way of playing. We will suffer, and eventually it will start to click and there will be better days ahead. I'm hoping we are starting to see the start of this now. And he's basically saying, yeah, you might have won more games initially playing 4-4-2, but I'm trying to build a future. I'm trying to basically start from the ground up. I don't want temporary. I want permanent. I want permanent class. I want to be able to go and play my way and win game after game after game after game after game. And I'm going to try and instill this into this squad. And I will continue to try and instill this into this squad until it works or you get rid of me. He wanted his way because he knew that it would build a platform for a future for him and this club where they could play football on a regular basis and win playing his style of football. And you know what? Has he adapted it? Yes, and I think that's really helped him. But he's also, got the players to finally understand what he's trying to do, and hopefully that can continue. It's included getting rid of some players that weren't suited, getting rid of some players that weren't up for the long, hard fight and maybe didn't have the right attitude and mentality, bringing new players in who were of a better quality, a better level, just better footballers that also have the right character to play for this club. And it's involved time on the training ground. Going down to one game a week I think's helped. There's multiple factors involved, but I think Amorim's basically saying that, look, it's very easy to sit there and say you might have got more wins, but I'm building something for the future. I believe in what I'm doing, and that's what I'm doing. And when he says if you're a pundit you don't say strong things, I don't want to watch you, I'm the same, it's basically insinuating that Sean Dyche was being strong purposefully to kind of get a reaction, which that is Amorim fighting back. So fair play to him. He has, Sean Dyche has said what he's had to say. Amorim has a right to reply. I fully expect these managers to shake hands on Saturday. All's well in love and war. Everything will be fine. And Sean Dyche can take that just the same way Amorim can take comments about him. It's nothing too deep. It's a little bit of mind games. It's a little bit of chat. It is what it is. But I agree with Ruben Amorim in the sense of he knows Sean Dyche is smart, and he's studied his football, and it's going to be a tough game. And I think that's something to really look forward to and to relish for Manchester United. And it gets everyone up for the game on Saturday. Noah's come back. Noah's come back in the comments. You know what? I respect it. I've give you a comment back. You've come back to me. You know, this is human debate. You don't have to label anything. It's human debate. Thank you very much, Noah. So Noah has said, you aren't nearly as bad as Ricky, but this platform influences people. Amorim wasn't doing well, but the culture is broken. It needed a shock. Be patient. I'm a Manchester United fan that wants Manchester United to win. I was being patient. It was about 10 months of barely winning a football game, Noah. I love my football club. I wanted to see it win games. It really isn't as deep as what you're making out. And every time we would win a game and every time we would do something well, I would praise it. And Ricky just says his opinion. It's not... I love Ricky to pieces. Yes, he has some wild, outlandish opinions that, by the way, are his true opinion. He truly believes it. But he's also a very intelligent, smart guy who knows a lot about football. He watches the United game about 5 times after it's been on. He lives, breathes United. He loves it. He wants nothing more for us to win games. He wants United to be the best. People can have an opinion that is critical, but still want the best for this football club. So, yeah, anyway. And also, okay, yeah, people watch the show and they might watch it and say, oh, do you know what? I didn't think about it like that. And, it's a conversation, it's a community. We're all supposed to speak and kind of give each other something to think about, but also everybody's capable of forming their own opinion. And so I'm not going to be responsible for how another person thinks. That is up to them on how to think. JB Sahar says, I can see Beth is the future of the United stand. Thank you very much. I appreciate that as a compliment. And thank you everybody else for getting in the comments as well and having your say. Smash a like on the video if you've not already. Ruben says he's won 3 games. He could lose the next 3. People need to calm down, enjoy the wins and keep it moving. Yeah, let's just enjoy the process we're having. And like I said, a couple of weeks ago, I want nothing more than Ruben Amorim to go on an unbeaten run of like 15 games this season. Just want United to be successful. Whatever way that happens, I want United to be successful by, obviously I don't want to do anything dodgy, but I want United to be successful. I want Amorim to be successful. I want these players to be successful. I'm really loving Man United at the moment. I always love Manchester United. It's one of them relationships that no matter what happens, it's an unbreakable love. But at the moment, I'm just really, really loving the feeling around the club and the squad and everything like that, and I feel a positive energy in the community, so thank you everyone. Smash a like on the video if you've not already. Also, on the bandwagon of positivity, make sure you go and get your Christmas jumper. The link is in the bio. I've spoken about it more than enough now, but it's based off the 3rd kit of this season. It's a fantastic design and I can't wait for us all to start wearing them, so go and grab yours so you can get involved. And as well, make sure that you go and check out all the watch-alongs that we have in store for you on That's Football. So, I just need to make sure that I have them all up here because I accidentally just pressed cross on my browser. It is on screen now for you. So, on That's Football, you have another reminder. Bundesliga tomorrow night, Augsburg versus Dortmund. You do not want to miss it. It is a 7:15 start and 7:30 p.m. You have the game going live. You've got the live watch along. You get to watch the game alongside Goldbridge. It is brilliant, breaking boundaries on That's Football. So remember, 7:15 start tomorrow night, 7:30 live, Augsburg versus Dortmund. You do not want to miss it. And then on Saturday, you have all the Manchester United content coming your way on the United stand. So we'll be live for countdown to kick-off at 1 p.m. You need to be there. Goldbridge will be taking over for his watch-along at 3 o'clock. Can we get another win? I really, really hope so. Let's keep going on this train of positivity. And then, in the evening time, you have a belter of a game on That's Football. You have Tottenham versus Chelsea. 5:30 kick-off. That's going to be a cracker. Who do you actually want to win that game, or are we looking for a draw? Then also, you have Saturday's just absolutely jam-packed. You have Liverpool versus Aston Villa 8 o'clock kickoff, 7:45 live. That's going to be an absolute another banger. Is Slot going to get another loss? I think I could see one coming. You know, Aston Villa are looking pretty good. They've really turned the corner. Then on Sunday, on That's Football, you have Man City versus Bournemouth. That really is a Super Sunday, 4:30. Again, who do we want to win that game? Can City lose again? I mean, Bournemouth look really good, but you'd think City are going to bounce back. Let us know all your predictions. Make sure you subscribe to That's Football. Got so much football content coming up, and it all starts tomorrow night. We are live from 7:15 for Augsburg versus Dortmund with the live game there for you. Smash a like on the video. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you to everyone for getting involved. And yeah, there's nothing left to say, everyone, apart from have a brilliant rest of your Thursday. Ben Jacobs tomorrow at 2 p.m. for all your latest transfer and Manchester United news. And we will see you on the next one.